Kyle, roll the intro.
I'll do it later.
Why? Damn it, Kyle!
Welcome to Outsider Stranded. Here's your host, Chance Clark.
Hi everyone, how's it going? This is Outsider Stranded. I'm your host, Chance Clark, and here is Kyle.
That's me.
Indeed.
I'm from the Kylor Show.
Indeed he is, and this is my first episode of my podcast. Welcome. If you don't know and don't know him or me, feel free to check our channels out. But get back to that later. Right now we are discussing a few different topics, but first off, what we're going to be talking about is a little bit what this YouTube channel is going to be. This podcasting channel is going to be about trying to open our minds as well as yours who are willing to also how do I put this, Kyle? Would it be to enlighten others or to give others knowledge of what's going on around?
To awaken or to give insight.
Basically what he said.
My name is Kylor. I have a YouTube channel called The Kylor Show. There will be a link to that in the description as I am doing the editing for this video. I also have a page called Vicious Cycle of Positivity where I talk about some of the things that I have learned throughout my life and also some personal philosophies of mine, some life stories, because I have been on this sort of path of personal growth and self-discovery for a while. Chance has been there for me, with me through a lot of it. And I've tried my best to help him out with as much stuff as possible.
Indeed, as well as his own personal mentalities and problems that he's been going through. He's also helped me as well to understand a lot of different things and to look at myself from a different perspective and open my mind up a bit more to see what I can further improve on to myself as well to improve others without them realizing it in a way of positive manner instead of negative, which is what the world needs more of.
Vicious cycle of positivity.
Indeed.
The whole idea behind it.
Please check out his Facebook page about it. We'll send a link in the description. Like
Facebook channel.
Well, Facebook. And
check out my Facebook channel and my YouTube page.
Yes, well, Facebook channel. Words, man. What can I tell you?
Our understanding needs to go beyond them.
Honestly.
And tell them about what your podcast basically is, Outsider Stranded, the whole idea behind it. Because today's episode is going to be largely about cultural conditioning.
A lot
and how to escape from that mindset.
Indeed. Basically what this channel is about, trying to...
While I drink tea.
Indeed.
Zuko, you must explain the channel to them. Look inside yourself and find the meaning of the video.
Thank you, Uncle Arrow. Whoever doesn't know that reference, please go watch Avatar.
The Last Airbender.
Yeah, Avatar: Last Airbender, not the live action.
If you watch, damn it, I don't remember the director's name.
Kyle, edit that in.
Yes, that man. If you watch his Avatar movie, you'll be confused. You'll be like, where's Iroh?
Yeah, his name will be right here in the palm of my hand, right, Kyle?
I'll make it happen with editor magic.
But anyway, this channel is actually to open people's minds and who feel lost and misguided to the point where they don't know what to do or they're too stressed. They want to change, or not really change, but to the way of words.
To tune out the noise that blocks us from knowing what we truly know.
Indeed. And a lot of that, like I said, is through cultural conditioning, what we've been basically spoon-fed since we were born.
Beyond the noise, we truly know the path. It gets buried under all the rhetoric and bullshit that we are fed on a day-to-day basis.
Indeed.
So, it's just a matter of silencing the mind, and you'll immediately know what to do.
Yep.
We're already there, and then from that point, once you realize you're there, it's just growth.
It is. And progress is progress, no matter how small. Always be proud of no matter how much progress you make.
If people will tell you in today's society that you have to reach a certain point at such a time, don't believe that. Because People grow at different rates.
Indeed, they do.
Always give yourself the credit for the changes and the discoveries and the lessons that you've learned.
Yes.
Because if you say things like, I should have done more with my life, I'm like ancient now. Like I did for a while. You're gonna go to a dark place in your mind.
And I'm pretty sure we've all been there in our own minds like that from time to time again, and it's a cycle, and it keeps recurring, and we kind of wonder why.
It's a loop.
It is a loop.
The universe will repeat a lesson over and over again until you finally learn.
And break that cycle completely.
I have observed that to be a constant. I would almost call it a law of reality at this point.
I would actually agree, because I've noticed that in my life as well.
It seems like every single time something happens, it's teaching you a big life lesson, and then you deny it, you go back into it because there's some level of security in the routine, there's some sort of security in staying where you already are, but the lesson is telling you to get out of that situation or change the way you're thinking. If you don't do that, it will just repeat over and over and over again. And things might get better for a little bit, but it'll eventually flip back around.
And it goes the same for about anything, honestly, about the way you live your life, the way your job is, the way people are around you, if they're positively affecting you or negatively affecting you. It all goes hand in hand. It really does.
Your setting does have a large part to do with the vibrations and energies that you will take in. But the great thing is learning to observe without absorbing.
Yes, that really helps completely, and I've learned that.
Because
Kyle has helped me with that.
Someone who truly knows themselves will never be bothered by the opinions or words or actions of others.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to change that situation, sometimes you have to act, sometimes you have to do things, but sometimes it's best just to observe and do nothing.
Yeah. Like, say that you basically work at a factory and it's a stressful job and there's a lot of negative energy around you, and you notice that, but what you don't notice is that you're also absorbing that negative energy and frustration, as well as taking it out on other people who don't really deserve it, but you don't know why you're upset or angry, and it gets you even more upset, honestly, and stressed out. That's happened to me several times.
Then you're just beating yourself up for the mistake you know you've made.
Exactly.
You have to give yourself that forgiveness that you deserve. I have just absorbed all the tea this mug.
Your mouth has absorbed it all.
Yes, so that's gone now. So, I'm here to do some speaking.
Indeed. And Kyle.
And Chance has written 3 questions. We talked a lot. We just kind of went on a tangent. We just kind of followed it for a while, but that's good. That's what we're here for.
Yes.
We're here to be spontaneous, but Chance has written down 3 questions that he wants you to cover in today's episode of the podcast, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be calling The Power of Being an Outcast.
Indeed it is.
Because being a loner can show you some amazing things, and I've learned that. Because you might see some things that I do, and you're going to be like, oh, he's such an extrovert, he's very, very bombastic, and he has all this energy. And you know what? That is very, very true. I'm very extroverted. I do random stuff in public all the time, just to kind of overcome anxiety. Like, I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm just going to be as weird as I want to be, because I don't want to take my life too seriously. Cut to something stupid that I've done on video. But I'm actually, in reality, quite an introvert. I spend a lot of my time alone. I spend a lot of my time walking around in nature. I spend a lot of my time just being introspective and being alone and sitting in the stillness of my mind. Because that's where the most truth lies. There's too much noise going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's largely why, if you go to my channel, you'll see my uploads have been very sporadic. It's because I do like a period of making a couple videos, and then I'll just go away from technology for a while. I'm going to try and be more active on my channel because I love making videos. But that's been largely what it is. Also, I had surgery. I had to recover from that.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you recovered.
Yeah. I had a pectus excavatum surgery. So I had this big cave-in chest, and they took 2 metal bars and they flipped it out, and now I have a flat chest. They robbed me of my boobies, Chance.
I don't know how to fix that, Kyle. I'm not a surgeon. I'm sorry. Do you want me to open you back up where your wounds are and just put cotton stuffing in there? Just anything you want, maybe chicken breast? I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
you might get infected, but
probably. I'll get salmonella doing that. But like, if you look at this, this is what this has turned into. There's the scar that healed properly.
And then
this is the scar that ripped open because I'm just a little too active.
Yeah. The second day out of surgery, he started walking everywhere.
Yeah, the second day after I had my bars taken out, I went for like a 10-mile walk.
He walks a lot, honestly, and it's really healthy and good for it.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's able to do that.
Because if you take care of yourself, you'll feel good.
Indeed. But anyway,
Yeah.
to continue on
Another tangent
about Kyle that we've been on now, to get straight to the point, Kyle, how do we basically deal with stress, anxiety, and depression in this modern society? And
because there is a lot of that in modern society.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
It's from what I've seen, it has grown exponentially, and this year specifically has brought a lot of that into fruition. It's brought that into the cycle, and now people are running through that loop, and it seems like there's no way out of it.
Indeed.
I feel like that was the best way I could describe this year.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting for this year, honestly. And of course, since it is November now, they're nearing the end of 2020. We don't know what's coming up for 2021, but hey, that's for the future to decide. We can't really, make assumptions.
And there's also a lesson to be learned there.
Yes.
Think, and this is one of the best ways to overcome negative feelings and negative thoughts and depression, is to not think about the problems you have, but think about the ones that you don't. Because there are a lot of people that complained about 2019 being a bad year.
Oh, yeah.
Not knowing the storm to come.
Yep.
So we don't know if next year is going to be worse. I'm going to say I hope it isn't. But if you go into everything, expect nothing. Accept everything. If you go into things with that mentality, you're able to kind of ride the flow a lot better. Yeah. It's effortless living, basically.
It is.
Basically, think about the problems that you don't have. We're breathing. That's something to appreciate.
It is.
We're currently alive. That's something to appreciate. We haven't been attacked by a leopard in the past 24 hours. That's pretty cool. Some countries can't say that.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah.
It is sad.
So, I mean, people tend to cling on to these negative feelings. Like, they're just holding their suffering because they identify with it. But if you just kind of let that go and practice gratitude over pessimism, you can pull yourself out of that very quickly. I actually suffered a really, really deep depression where I went silent for a while. I would listen to music because I think of things so differently that if I talked to somebody about my problems, I felt like I would look at it like it was from another dimension or something. Like, I don't really fit in the modern demographic of today's society.
Oh yeah, you really don't.
And that's the power of being an outcast, because I discovered some amazing truths while I was doing that. The first being, all of my suffering was coming from me.
Yep.
And the second was I learned a lot about how people work by the way that they would react to my presence.
So, how does one overcome, say, major anxiety? Because that is a big thing that a lot of people have, that sometimes they really can't control fully, or don't understand why they're getting this a whole big anxiety attack.
Yeah.
Honestly, especially when it's out of nowhere from work.
And because of I'm an eccentric person. I do some stuff.
Indeed.
I'm very outgoing with the right crowd.
Yes.
But after getting introspective for a while, I actually sort of discovered that I do have a layer of anxiety that I sort of denied existed. Like, I would go into situations being like, oh, I gotta say the right thing, because I've been a perfectionist for a long time.
Yep.
So I really always went into conversations not knowing what to say because I was overthinking it, and I wouldn't just go with the flow. And I would get this sort of anxious feeling of, what do I do in a social situation? So I would kind of overact in a way.
Yeah.
And sometimes that would push people away a little bit because they thought I was being too upfront or energetic or just really, really strange. And so eventually I just sort of started toning myself down and realizing, I'm not here to please everyone. But also it's just a big matter of realizing everyone's just people. Let go of the idea of inferior and superior.
Yeah.
And also let go of the idea of good and bad, because if you judge people that way, that's just a different kind of prejudice.
Mm-hmm. And you're just putting on labels on things that you know nothing really about.
If you see yourself and others and you view everyone as basically the same as you, you'll treat them a lot better, and they'll like you a lot better.
Indeed. as well as treating other people, you also have to treat yourself with kindness, respect, and love.
And there's different kinds of anxiety. That was kind of social anxiety. If you're just somebody who lies awake at night overthinking things, and I've also had this problem in the past, stop trying to project into the future. It's really that simple. Like, if you're trying to project into a dimension of time that does not exist yet, and when you're thinking about something that is uncertain and there's multiple different variables, the butterfly effect, you can just take multiple paths, there's doors that are open, there's way too many, your mind is trying to comprehend what you should do, what other people are going to do. You're thinking the worst because the ego likes to do that. It's your survival instinct. It tries to think of the worst, so you're prepared for it, and then it makes you feel bad. So if you just stay grounded in the present moment and accept things as they unfold in front of you, that really does, that's how I cured my anxiety. And curing depression was pulling myself out of the past. In the present moment, there is peace. I have nothing to worry about right now. I am breathing, I'm happy.
Which is really good, and I'm really happy for you, and I'm really glad that you can actually, keep overcoming those bad and terrible thoughts, and also, either just social anxiety in general, like a lot of people suffer through. And I've had a lot of anxiety as well, random anxiety that my brain likes to overwork itself even when I'm at work, and then I'm like, wow, why do I feel this guilt, or why do I feel like shit, sometimes? But my brain likes to overwork things as well, like everyone else's as well. Yeah. But the thing is, when your brain comes up with that, that's just your brain telling you and bringing up past memories of, like, as well as the future, bringing up different things, scenarios, trying to more or less bring you down.
Yeah.
But those thoughts aren't really...
They're not really you, per se. Because you are the awareness behind them. You are not the thoughts, you are the awareness. You can observe them, you can watch your feelings come up, you can learn the lesson they're trying to teach you because there is a lesson they're trying to teach you.
Oh yeah.
And then once you observe them and you tell them that it's okay, from this conscious point, they just kind of go. Like, view your consciousness as the sky and your thoughts as the clouds. They just kind of flow, but the sky remains.
Yeah.
It's whole.
As well as what Kyle has told me. View it as your thoughts auditioning for your attention.
Yes.
And if they keep saying, hey, we keep bringing the same thing up that you don't really like, and it keeps bothering you, acknowledge it. Say, yes, you're there. You've dealt with that. You can leave. It's gone.
View them as auditioning for your attention. They are your advisors, not your leaders.
Because if you say no or deny them, they're just going to come right back, but even stronger.
Yeah, don't suppress things. You got to do the proper shadow work. Don't suppress things because then they will come back with more intensity.
Oh yeah.
You have to actually be honest with the negative things you are feeling and balance that yin-yang, that Tao within you. Everything's a duality of some point, of some kind. Because some people, they suppress these negative thoughts and then they just come back with more and more intensity, and then they guilt themselves. They're like, why am I thinking this? And then it just builds up. Those thoughts are sneaky. They'll start thinking things like, I'm thinking too much. That's also a thought.
It is. It is.
The mind is very, very sneaky. It likes to creep up on you and make you identify with it. I is the name the ego calls itself when pretending to be you.
Yeah.
But you have to be honest with those negative opinions and be like, nah, it's okay.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of keep checking on yourself. People are always too busy looking outward. They don't look inward and do the proper maintenance that we need to do.
Yeah.
Like, we're just in this big complex machine and nobody's read the user's manual.
No,
we have to figure it out on the ride.
Yeah, we're basically like, hey, what page and chapter are we supposed to be on? Oh, wait, just disintegrated in midair. I guess I'm gonna go with it. Fuck it.
Yeah. And it also comes back to what I said about just acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Accept everything as if you had chosen it for yourself. Just go into life saying yes to this. Because if you say yes to life, no matter what pops up, if it's negative, positive, whatever it is, then you are willing and you can deal with it without stress. Because there's a quote that I absolutely love. I think it's by Buddha. I read a lot of philosophers. I can't remember exactly who it is. I'll put it somewhere on screen. Who said it? Stress is the gap between your expectation and reality.
I definitely agree with that. I can't remember who that was either, but you showed me.
All of our suffering is basically just an internal resistance to what is happening.
Indeed.
But if you accept it, there's no resistance, and you can just deal with it calmly.
Yeah. this also that also falls into the thing of depression, as well as going to the negative mindset that way that the brain creates. That also, transforms into depression, negative, and they make you feel less of a person.
I've noticed thinking certain thoughts will rewire your brain certain ways.
Oh yeah.
As I said, practice gratitude over pessimism. If you think negative thoughts and your primary language is complaining, gossip, all these different negative things, that's going to just kind of become who you are. Your habit hardens into character. But if you practice unconditional love and you practice gratitude, but kind of check yourself when you wake up in the morning. Waking up is one of those things. You wake up, maybe you had a weird dream. I have really weird dreams. Chances, I tend to wake up like, oh, what the hell just happened? But
yeah,
I sort of ground myself. I meditate every morning, and I just sort of drink my coffee, and I just kind of go, still alive.
Grateful you're breathing. Grateful that you're still here. Hey, it's a great day.
Mm-hmm.
That's the great mentality that all people should have, really.
You're never given a good or a bad day. That's up to you.
Yeah, it's all about the mindset and what you choose to let affect you.
Yeah. Did the rain come to spoil your beautiful day, or has the rain come to nourish the plants that provide your oxygen? Everything has its beauty, but not everyone sees it. Confucius said that.
Yes, he did, actually. I did read about that one. Also, a good help for a lot of this is to look up and research yourself on a lot of this. It really helps. It's helped me a lot. He's introduced me to a lot of different philosophers and a lot of different
researching
things.
It helps to some extent, but you also have to look inside yourself. Like, you have to look inside yourself and sit in that silence and just really actually learn yourself, because you'll understand things when your mind is silent. It's interesting how it works, but it's just an understanding of how you work, and reality works beyond words.
Yeah. The more you understand yourself, the happier you will be.
Yes.
Honestly, it really is. I've learned to love myself a lot, and Kyle's seen that. For myself, through my own spiritual journey I've been on.
He's grown a lot.
A lot in the past, 5 months, honestly. And this entire apartment, when I first got this apartment, for the first 3 months I was in a real bad place. When I first got it, in a bad mindset and everything, honestly. And then Kyle, I've always known Kyle for periods beyond that, honestly, since I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years almost, actually. Yeah.
But we never really talked a whole lot. We had this kind of relationship in school where I would just kind of come and go and say stuff, and then I would leave.
Indeed. People would think he was, of course, the outcast,
which I was okay with that.
Which is okay with it. People thought he was weird, didn't like that, but I was like, hey, he's basically like me.
And that's some of the stuff.
He's just more ecstatic than I am.
Yeah, that's some of the stuff that I was learning. It's just weird. It's just one of those judgments. You have to let go of judgment to see reality how it actually is. If you see things through a judgment, you're looking through a prism and you're projecting your feelings on the things that aren't there.
Indeed, that's why I thought you were always nice, pretty cool, and actually pretty comical. Honestly, the funny things you say are really hilarious.
And I test people sometimes. Funny story.
Psychologically,
I just sort of do things. It's never a big thing. I'm not going to go and gaslight somebody. It's just little experiments here and there. And one day I walked up to Chance during school.
Lunchtime,
and I placed $35 on the table, and I just kind of stared at him. And in my mind, I was just like, Chance is a really, really nice guy. He's not going to take this money. He's going to be like, why are you doing this? He's going to give it back to me. He took the money.
I did. I was like, I'm confused, but then he walked away without me realizing what the fuck was going on. I was confused. So it was slowly, he was okay. It's I don't know how I feel about this. And just slowly put it in my pocket and just left it there, basically, to its own devices.
So then with a newly empty wallet, I was like, I did this to myself, and I walked away. I accepted it.
I didn't realize everything was going on. I was I don't know if it was a trap or thing. It's I was no one's giving me money. I don't know what to do. It's I'm in high school. It's I didn't have a job. I was oh, okay, now I guess I have money now. Okay.
Yeah, I was oh.
It's right. Well, that was my own thing.
Yeah, the lesson was, don't be so confident in my observations and deductions about people.
Yeah.
I'm able to Sherlock Holmes people every now and then, but not that accurately. And I learned that. Humility.
Honestly, that was the one time I really stumped you, surprisingly enough. At that
It
time.
happens.
Yeah, but that was a great time. That was good. But
I laughed my ass off at that. Like when I went home, I was just like, I'm broke now. Damn it.
Great times. But anyway, another topic we can talk about, we should probably get into right about now, would be how to enjoy the little things in life, honestly. Because a lot of people take everything for granted. Like, say, nature itself, or breathing, like we've talked about, being alive. Just being here, existing. People take that for granted.
Mm-hmm. And the answer to it may sound morbid, but it's absolutely true. People live their lives forgetting their own mortality.
Yeah.
They live their lives almost expecting this to keep going because the mind can't comprehend its own non-existence.
It really can't. But people think like death is like, oh, just a deep dark abyss, or say like heaven. But that's on a different topic. But it's the mind, like you said, cannot grasp its own.
Because the mind has always known. It has always known one thing, and I say always, because it's literally always. It's the one thing that the mind always knows, and that is I am. The mind always knows I am here. I am here right now. And people tend to forget this. They tend to forget this more and more as it gets clouded with all this stuff. Like, you need to kind of ground yourself in this I am presence and stay in the moment, so you don't catch yourself becoming a time gazer and thinking about the future or the past all that much. But basically, just live your life as if you're already dead.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, honestly, because
if you actually remember the impermanence of everything, you sort of realize, and you sort of create this dissolution between yourself and material possession. You don't always feel the need to have this or have that because you realize you have everything. You're whole. I love my Buddha cup, but I can't take this with me after I'm gone. This is just something that I have. It holds my coffee, it holds my tea, it is useful to me right now, but I don't own this. Yeah. I have let go of the concept of ownership, and it actually has made me happier because I don't find myself striving for things so much.
Yeah.
I'm able to live content with very little.
Mm-hmm.
And Chance has seen this.
Oh, completely. Honestly, he's basically just more or less had completely nothing for several times, and what he does have is just
everything I need.
Yeah, everything he really needs. Honestly, like he's been through really a rough life, honestly, without even you just kind of looking and realizing. But he slept on park benches as well as probably multiple others as well.
I've slept on freezing cold park benches. I've slept in abandoned cars.
Yeah.
I've been around.
And I've slept in my own car being homeless before too. So I know how that feels. And I was lucky enough to have a car and lucky enough to have clothes. So I was grateful for that, honestly. And that's why I learned, like, just be grateful for the things you have. Just even if it's on your back, the clothes on your back. Mm-hmm. Being alive. I was surprised I even had a job still, then honestly too.
We're always thinking about what needs to happen next.
Exactly.
We're living our life like it's forever, but
it's not.
You need to sort of take the time to just
breathe.
Appreciate your breath.
Yeah.
And when we drink tea or coffee or anything, we're always in a hurry. We're like, gotta get this caffeine in me so I can go to work. But enjoy the flavor of it. Another thing Confucius said is, we all eat, but not everyone enjoys the taste of food. He's saying, sit down and smell the roses.
Yeah, take the time to enjoy the little things. Because...
And that's another thing. I brought up Confucius. This is the third Confucius quote in this video.
Yeah.
But he said, we have two lives, and the second one begins when we realize we only have one. You have to realize and remember death, and then live your life like you've already died.
Yeah.
Let go of that no longer positively serves you, and it will actually benefit you greatly.
Indeed. Like,
it's very hard to do. It's a little bit of a self-destructive process, but if you step into that furnace of self-discovery, you'll just realize that you don't need any of this commodities and money and success, or material success, or fame, or anything of that sort.
Speaking about money as well, that is also a pretty decent topic to talk about the whole
cultural conditioning. The point of this episode that we haven't talked about at all yet.
We talked about all the other points so far, besides cultural conditioning.
The biggest power that comes from being an outsider is you sort of learn the mental illness of society.
Yeah.
And that is the worship of money, the worship of separatism. The ego is telling the story of self and other, but there's really no separation. We're all connected.
Such as other names of countries, borders, and things. They're just labels. They don't exist.
I've done a little bit of traveling here and there, and every single time I cross a state border, I always make the joke, where is it? I don't see it. It must be pretty damn small. I don't see any border. It's not really there, is it? It's just a concept that humans invented. Like, once you start seeing past the illusions that people think are real, you realize that a lot of our reality, what we think is reality, is just something that we've made life to be, but we've overcomplicated something that is so very simple. We just are. Did you know how to form your body? Did you sit in the womb and plan out the blueprints of your hands? Did you plot out every single thing that you do? Does a stream know how to flow? Sometimes you just have to accept that life just is. You don't have to know how to live. And modern society overcomplicates everything. The meaning of life is simply being alive, but people don't like that simple of an answer.
Yeah, but honestly, it's in plain sight. The meaning of life is life itself. Why do we try to complicate things as in overwork our brains as that simple of a question?
And that is the realization that you'll know once you, as I suggested earlier, remember death. Everything is a duality. Death implies living.
It does.
We're all going to die, and once you realize that truth, you'll understand the meaning of life. It's just living, being alive.
It really is.
And once you figure that out, you just kind of feel at peace. You're like, everything that I was doing to stress myself out just was something that basically someone else told me to do. School taught me to think this way. The media taught me to think this way. Peers taught me to think this way. You have to unlearn what society has taught you to be and realize what you truly are at your nature.
And about schooling real quick, as Mark Twain once said,
I never let my schooling interfere with my education.
Indeed.
I am a high school dropout. I'm going to go back and get my GED, but honestly, I think pulling myself out of school and educating myself was the best move I could have made at that age.
Yeah, and I graduated high school.
I pulled myself out at 17.
Yeah. And
then I started studying philosophy and computers, and I started meditating every day because I finally had time. That's another thing. The modern society likes to distract us. It likes to keep us doing things, and we don't have time to just be and realize ourselves. We're always thinking about what has to be done next.
Yeah.
But life isn't about making little pieces of cotton paper with pictures of dead politicians on it.
Yeah, or trying...
Just saying that out loud sounds stupid.
It really does, but that's what it's become. Honestly.
That's why
currency itself.
I call it the mental illness of society.
It really is. And I don't see, now that I've learned a lot of this and experienced this for myself, I don't care for money, nor do I want it, nor do I like to have it. But in this society, we are forced to depend on it because we can't get anything for free and or help each other out just for the sake of that.
Altruism is dead.
Yes.
Society killed it. We can bring it back. But it's on life support. It's not dead.
Yeah,
it's on life support.
It's
because we've commodified everything.
We have,
and we need to stop doing that. We need to just see the beauty in everything, see the beauty in other people, stop objectifying the world, and just live it.
Just because someone brings upon negative energy or hate towards you doesn't mean you have to act the same way.
And don't reciprocate it.
No,
because you represent you. You don't represent
exactly. If you represent yourself with love, integrity, and just plain out, just love for all things in general, nature, life, and other people, even if they don't really like you. That's their opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, but you could still love them. love them with all your being and just put out positive energy and vibes. That's all you need.
People
Don't realize that.
People like to glorify fighting.
I don't like that.
They like to glorify overcoming the enemy. But what is the enemy besides your own mind? Once you've overcome that enemy, you realize that there is no enemy. The only way that you can defeat violence is with non-violence. The only way that you can defeat hatred is with love. The only way that you can defeat greed is with generosity.
Yeah.
You have to give those positive energies to defeat the negative energies. You can't fight fire with fire. You just create a bigger problem.
Yeah, it's a cycle. War. It's a cycle.
And that's the biggest loop that we as people need to get out of right now.
Really.
Realize the cycle of pessimism that we are in and create more of a vicious cycle of positivity. Follow my shameless advertisement. But
shame you, Kyle. Shame for self-advertisement. Shame on you.
Played off as a joke.
Yeah.
But the lesson is there, though.
It really is.
It's very important. We need to step out of this cycle.
I agree.
And it's perpetuated for far too long.
Yeah.
I think even Benjamin Franklin said every generation needs a revolution. And right now we've been holding on to these old ideologies and these
way too long.
These old grudges and these old vendettas and these old problems way too long. We brought this old system that no longer benefits us in a modern society. We're we're gonna drag that into the present.
Yeah.
We need radical change and we need positive change.
We do. And it doesn't help for the way we live in modern society, for the cultural conditioning that we have been spoon-fed since we have been born out of the womb, basically.
One of my greatest eye-openers was just not watching the news or really following any media.
Yeah.
I don't watch TV, and that's why I'm not doing any more movie podcasts with Neil, because I haven't watched a movie properly in about a year. I don't consume media. I don't scroll through Facebook. I have a Facebook page that I make posts on, but I don't scroll through Facebook. I don't consume media because it's just trash. It's just a bunch of bullshit. We'll call it what it is.
Yeah, trash.
It's just a place where people spread this negativity. It's a place where people perpetuate this. Ironically, we are making a YouTube video and people are going to be consuming media watching this video.
But this is very educational. Yeah, there's a purpose for this.
There's truth out there. Law of attraction. Law of attraction applies to everything. If you seek depressing things online, they'll come to you. They'll find you. Everything that you do attracts the same energy. So if you're seeking negative things, if you're seeking depression quotes, if you're seeking depressing music, that's what the internet will feed you. But if you seek philosophy, if you seek wisdom, if you seek enlightenment, those things will find you. You just have to make that choice to look for it.
Yeah. Honestly. For cultural conditioning as well, another thing, we've been taught labels.
That's kind of a problem with the internet algorithm.
Oh. Especially YouTube.
It realizes that people are sad. It sees that people are watching depressing music videos when they're feeling sad, and it just goes, hey, you like this stuff. We're going to give you more of that.
Hey, here's your own playlist for it. Boom.
Yeah, absorb more negative energies.
It's, as well as Spotify. Spotify does that too.
What is modern music?
Trash. Sadly, I hate to say that. I used to literally be like everyone else, listen to depressing stuff because it was just relatable. It really was.
It rewires your brain. It rewires your brain. I listen to beautiful instrumental music. Shout out to Thomas Bergerson, Lindsey Sterling, Adrian Von Ziegler, Yanni.
Oh yeah.
And I also love classic rock music. I love music that makes me feel good.
Positive.
Listen to music that's fun. Don't listen to music that makes you sit there and go, this is me.
Yeah. Listen to something that has soul.
You.
Soul, like 80s. The 80s classic rock was actually a pretty good time.
Yeah.
Look, we got Twisted Sister, we had Foreigner, Journey,
Def Leppard.
Def Leppard.
Kansas.
Definitely Kansas. Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Heat of the Moment. One of their best songs.
Yep.
And that was fucking great.
And a Heart.
Yeah.
Amazing definitely. Female band.
Ooh, definitely. Great vocalists. Mm-hmm. Completely.
Kenny Loggins.
Definitely.
Listen to positive music. It'll make you feel happy.
Yeah. I can listen to negative music like that, but only if really other people want to listen to it around me. I just block all that out and be like, Okay.
Yeah, I can block it out because I'm not going to be that guy that's just going to go someplace and be like, "Hey, stop playing what you're playing." Like,
Let me put in the aux, man.
Like I'm not an authoritarian person. Like, but at the same time, those vibrations really repel me.
Yeah. Modern music now has made a lot of people depressed.
And that's just another.
Yeah.
That's just another loop.
It is, and it's sad to say that it has done that. But modern music should be positive, enlightening to.
What they're really doing is they're just taking something that people find relatable.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, people find this relatable, and then they've stuck with it. They've repeated the same sound over and over and over again. It sounds so negative. It sounds so boring, and they're just people are buying into it because they don't know much else anymore in today's society, sadly.
It is.
And they all, as they do, as I said, we've covered it. They find it relatable. And I've seen like some people, they'll listen to like depressing rap songs when they're down, and they walk around like, I'm just like, I'm sitting here jamming to rock music. Come on, have fun. You pull yourself out of that. Defeat the negativity with positivity.
Yeah. But I do understand that other artists that are like that, singing out those depressing songs, they're not trying to make it depressing, really, but yet they are at the same time. It's kind of weird. It goes like, hand in hand, but
I can't really.
They're trying to express themselves honestly. They are, because I can understand that, but in a way, it should, in my opinion, end in a positive note. That you come so far and now you're here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Not trying to down anyone for that.
Yeah, I can't really make any conclusions about intention. I'd say there are some people out there that are just like, hey, I'm making a paycheck. But that's just an assumption. I can't assume things.
I will say that for some people, some artists, they just use music, of course, as a therapy thing, and then that's why they have what they have now.
Yeah, I can't speak for their motivations because I don't know.
Yeah.
But like as I said, like if they're an influencer, I feel like they should realize how their music is affecting people and be like, hey, I'm going to take the responsibility to make a happy album.
Yeah.
Make some feel good music again. We need that. The music we consume, and music is one of those universally loved things.
Yes.
Like people might not like the same genres of music, but
music in general.
Yeah, I've never met a person that says I hate music.
Yeah.
I've never met someone who says that.
Neither have I, actually.
So yeah, I think music is kind of universally loved.
Yeah, now that I realize, I never actually could think of like spot on, like if I met anyone that has hated music, just maybe a different genre or different things about it.
I'm not a fan of rap music or modern country music or modern pop music for sure, but like old pop music and even disco. I love disco.
Of course you do. I know you do, Kyle.
Look at me.
He's Kyle, everyone. Basically. But yeah.
Like the music that we consume really does affect us. Music is designed to affect people psychologically. The main reason that people find the horror movies frightening is because of the music they use. And if you go to my channel, I actually did an experiment. I made a video called Making Pictures of Cats Creepy, where I just zoomed in slowly on their faces and I added in creepy music.
It kind of actually worked for me.
Yeah,
the first time he showed it to me, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, like
especially with the cats.
Yeah, some people were like, they're cute pictures of cats, why is it unsettling? It's effective. Music affects us psychologically.
Yeah, if you use it right, it can really trigger something in the brain, be like, hey, I don't know how I feel about this. This looks uneasy. It's an uneasy feeling you get. I think that's another why a lot of people like horror movies too, because I love horror movies too, because they want to somewhat feel that unsettlingness. Like, I don't know how to really explain that. Actually.
Like growing up, Halloween was my favorite time of year.
We just had that.
I would nerd out. Like I would go to like stores like Menards, and I'd go to the Halloween section and I'd just be like,
Menards. Menards Halloween section.
Like the faces that I would make at Halloween sections. Like even today, I do this.
Yeah. Like, ooh, this is nice.
Like people will look at me. People will look at me, a grown ass man, acting like a kid when I go to stores during Halloween. And there's nothing wrong with that. be you.
Yeah.
Have fun with it. Like, I will walk into stores, find the Halloween section, just look at all the costumes, and I'll find like a big blow-up pumpkin head man, and I'll just be like, oh, that's awesome.
Right? Halloween is literally my version of Christmas, in my opinion, of how I grew up, since my family has been a horror movie family since I've been like the age of 4.
And I didn't watch many like childhood stuff
No.
growing up. Like growing up, my
Your parents were like really.
I was the most unsheltered kid. My childhood TV show was The Simpsons and Family Guy and action movies, like really R-rated action movies was my childhood. But like some fond memories I have of me like between the ages of like 9 and 12 was watching the Goosebumps movie marathons during Halloween.
Yes. Those were fucking great. Like, the books were better, of course.
Yeah, even though they're not great productions, they spoke Halloween.
They really did. It was just creepy, and especially for how like young you were at the time. Like, ooh, this gives me an eerie, creepy vibe. Like, ooh, that's weird, but I like it.
Like, even though the acting might not be that great, and even though like the effects might not always be that great, and they're not great productions, they exude the vibration of Halloween, and you can't help but love it.
Yeah. For all those people who love Halloween as much as us,
shout out to you.
Yes. We love you. We love you all, but still, yes.
I love all of you.
Indeed. I love all of you as well. I may not know you, I may not know what you're going through. I hope this really helps, though.
If people might be out there saying, you don't even know me, but if people can hate for no reason, we can love.
Indeed.
And there's a reason for that. Because you're amazing.
As Keanu Reeves has said multiple times, you're breathtaking. I love that man.
I love Keanu.
He's been through so much. But back to cultural conditioning.
Yes.
Another Sorry about that.
But I hope you
get the ideas.
I want to do.
We are speaking.
Yeah, I want to do a lot more podcast stuff like this because, like, in gaming videos, I have fun making them. But I actually, people will notice if they watch my channel, I talk a lot more doing something like this.
Oh yeah.
Because in a gaming video, you're just kind of talking about the game. You're making jokes about what's happening in the game. When you're just talking and you have someone with you, conversation can go anywhere. it's the place where my personality shines.
But really, especially with two people who grew up completely different, basically, and have completely different personalities, look at basically Mark and Ethan, honestly, and their honest videos they do, that is literally about to be taken down here soon, sadly. It's been almost a year. But look at them. Look at any other people, every two YouTubers or two people that you like that actually kind of feed off each other's humor, basically.
We've got to start a channel like that, except we won't delete it.
No, we won't delete it. We won't.
But we'll just do some random stuff and we'll record it.
And we actually have an idea for it, but we're not going to say it at this point. It's for a surprise.
It's the surprise.
It's a surprise. But cultural conditioning has always affected everyone without even you realizing it. Completely.
Yeah, it goes under the radar a lot of the times.
All the time.
Yeah.
All of the time. And you don't realize it until
well, not all the time, because we're here.
Yeah, well, us, but a
lot of people.
Yeah, and a lot of people. But we haven't realized it until, when we have.
Yeah, and also, it's never like an ego stroking thing for me. Like, I'll always tell people, it's not something superhuman that I've accomplished. I just kind of remembered what I already knew.
Yeah.
We always knew this stuff. It just gets buried.
Yeah, it gets blocked by the static of the modern culture that we have.
Everyone's capable of transcending.
Indeed. Honestly, look at me. I didn't think I would be able to, or think in a certain positive way that...
Yeah, that's the biggest roadblock. That's the biggest
I didn't think, but here I am.
I'm talking over you, I'm sorry.
No.
But doubt is the biggest roadblock. And that was the biggest roadblock for me, even. Like, it took me a while. I was just kind of like, I feel like I have this figured out, but do I? And then just asking that question would send me down this thought rabbit hole of trying to figure everything out again. And I would it was a loop. Like, doubt will fuck us up if we have it. We gotta surrender doubt. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. That's another quote that I love. And like that doubt stopped you. You were like, oh, I don't think I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, everyone has that potential. It's already within you. You're not obtaining something new. You're just letting go of what doesn't positively serve you anymore.
Yeah. The same thing goes.
It's just letting yourself come back. You're realizing your potential and you're coming back into reality.
Also doubting yourself for like, you're also in a way saying, you're doubting yourself in a way saying, hey, I'm going to try this. If you say you're going to try it and it never gets done, it really never gets done. You're kind of selling yourself up there. But if you basically say, hey, I'm going to do this, and you do it and start taking action, that's progress. No matter how small it is that you've done, that say, I don't know, I'm going to do the dishes when I get home.
Confidence does help.
It really does. Even if you do a little bit of those dishes, like not a whole lot. You don't even have to do all of them. Just a little bit if you want. Just to get it out a little bit out of the way, like, hey, progress. Be proud of the progress you all have made for anything and through life itself.
Yes, definitely.
Here in the moment is what it matters.
And also, it kind of comes back to acceptance, because you want to be confident in setting your intention, but you also don't want to hold on to an expectation, because sometimes things don't work out.
Yeah, that's true.
Things have been setting me back a lot here and there. I recently got my license, and
the first time you tried to go do that?
The first time I went to go take my test, I had a tire blowout on the highway on the way to take my test, and I pulled into someone's driveway. Had to spend the money that I had to pay for the license to go get my tire changed, and I had to go to BioLife again, donate plasma.
Just to get the money.
Currently unemployed. And then I got my license, and the day after I got my license, I hit a deer.
And
now I have to change a headlight.
Yep.
Life will fuck you up, but I'm making a joke out of it because
hey, it's funny to think of now.
Yeah, I'm going with that flow because things will happen, and you just have to accept it. It is what it is.
It could have been worse.
Yeah,
the tire could have been worse.
Mm-hmm.
Getting hit by that deer basically could have been worse.
Yeah.
Than what the headlight would have been. Basically, he's alive, and he's.
I didn't crash when I had my tire blowout.
He said calm. He's like, oh, well, this is happening.
I literally looked out the window as I saw rubber fly past the window. I'm like, that's probably bad.
Like, maybe I should pull over.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. Maybe it's nothing.
Yeah, like, failure, extinguish that from your vocabulary. Failure is just success in progress. Because if you keep trying and you don't let yourself get down, you'll get there eventually. Progress is still progress.
Indeed.
And even the guy that, like, I pulled into this guy's driveway after I, like, had my tire blow out, and he comes out and he checked out my car for me. He was really, really nice. He helped me out. He even went and, like, helped me change the tire and get the boot on, the spare that I had.
Thankfully.
Yeah, he helped me with that.
He was very kind and generous.
And he was like, well, you had your first tire blowout, you didn't panic, and you didn't crash. You passed your test in my book. I was like, thank you, positive sir.
Honestly, that would be a positive test, honestly. If that had to happen on driver's test nowadays in modern society, I feel like that would...
If I was a driving instructor, I'd pass me.
I think anyone would pass you if you calmly did that. Honestly, you're like, hey, good job, you didn't panic, and you're like, oh, well, you handled the situation right. But this has been great, and
I hope you learned things.
Yes. If you have learned things and have any more questions, please feel free to comment all the questions, and we shall answer them in videos.
Yes.
And words. They may not be said like all the time, or well, I should say, regularly said or posted videos of them, all of them, but majority of them will be said, of course, and we shall do videos on them as well.
Yes, and this is Chance's channel, even though I think statistically I did most of the talking.
A little bit, and I've helped giving you a little seat of the row as my first guest.
Yeah.
Of course, questioning and giving a little bit of your experience of who you are.
Round of applause for Chance for being the best interviewer.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Because that's not a round of applause, but that's a small little clap.
Just get in there.
But yeah, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe.
Yeah. Subscribe to Chance's channel if you want to check out my channel. I have a channel. It's called The Kylor Show. And we'll leave a link to that, and also Vicious Cycle of Positivity, the philosophy page that I have on Facebook. There's probably over like 300 posts on there now. If you scroll through all of it, you basically got an entire philosophy book. It's an entire philosophy book that I have written in installments over the course of a couple of years.
Yeah, that's a lot.
As I made my journey. In fact, I actually recently scrolled to the bottom of the page. And it was interesting to see how much I've grown.
Yeah.
Like, that first post is still really good. It was actually a quote by Alan Turing, and I was talking about, like, letting go of the concept of violence, how it's primitive, basically.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about as well.
And, like, I'm like, you know, that's a good point still, but if you like, scroll from the top to the bottom, or, I mean, the bottom to the top is what I meant to say there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of growth throughout the time that I made that page.
It's
and
a personal blog.
It's basically, it's a personal blog of the stuff that I've been doing, my like journey into mindfulness and self-discovery and meditation and philosophy and realizing things. There's like lots of different posts from different philosophers like Rumi, Friedrich Nietzsche, Carl Jung, Alan Watts, Buddha, lots of Buddha quotes.
Yeah, Confucius,
like lots of different stuff. And I always write out a bunch of my own like interpretation. I write a lot of like personal stories about me. There's quite a bit there.
Yeah, and thank you, Kyle, for coming on to this podcast, especially for the very first episode. I really enjoy the time I've gotten to express and hope to educate you as well as Kyle to educate you.
And I hope to be in multiple more episodes.
Oh, yes, of course. And I shall try to get others as well into my podcast at some point in time. May not know and don't have an exact schedule yet, but in due time, it will come. Alright, thank you, and I hope you all have a lovely day.
We love you.
I love you.
Hello everybody, Editing Kyle here. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Outsider Stranded. If you did, please subscribe to Chance's channel. And now, because I can, I'm going to edit in our microphone audio test.
It also lags. So there we go, now it's recording.
Yeah.
Say stuff.
Stuff.
Stuff. Words.
I'm kind of terrified of words.
Yeah, me too. Maybe we shouldn't do this.
I don't know. Nipples sound good right about now.
Yeah. Okay, we got this.
Okay, yeah, we got this. It's good.